Hello and welcome to the STEM Center Career Exploration Speaker Series. In this series, we are interviewing STEM professionals in the different STEM fields. So today I'm joined by Mr. Dirce Hernandez. Hi, Dirce.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. So I wanted to get started by asking you a little bit about yourself and what you do in the STEM professional field that you work in.
Certainly. My name is Dirce Hernandez. I've been working in, the STEM field professionally since 2005. Got my undergrad degree in computer information systems from Our Lady of the Lake. Uh, Also did a master's in cybersecurity from Our Lady of the Lake back in 2012. Currently, I'm almost finishing up my PhD program from Our Lady of the Lake in organizational leadership. So most of my career has been in information security, cybersecurity. I just recently joined Palo Alto as a adjunct faculty to teach in the space. Um, Currently, I work for USAA. I'm a cybersecurity compliance risk manager for USAA, but have experience in different verticals from state government, higher ed, and things like that.
So one question I do want to ask is, I know that you work for USAA and obviously, you know, with everything going on with the pandemic, has COVID-19 at all affected you and the work that you're doing?
Definitely. I mean, I'm in the second line of defense, so our group was one of the first ones to be asked to work from home. So I've been working from home since early March, so going on 7 months already. I had experience working remotely in a previous role where I used to work for Dell. The last 6 months of that engagement was directly 100% remote work from home. And that's when I'm originally from Brownsville, Texas, but I was down there working. And so it wasn't new to me, but at the same time, it was definitely, you miss going into the office and just having that day to day sort of, you know, I guess, thing change on you from one night to the next. And according to our leadership, we're going to continue to be like that till at least January. They're going to decide what they're going to do at that time.
So being in cybersecurity, does it pose any sort of issues with working remotely?
Mm, I mean, it not for USA because we have a robust security infrastructure, but a lot of other places, I've been hearing a lot of war stories and horror stories about IT shops in different areas, not just financial services, that definitely, were taken back with everything that happened with moving everyone remote, having the network availability, having security controls in place that weren't there. So they were basically flying the plane as they were building it, right? They were building the plane as they were flying it. They have a lot of issues, but for USA, thankfully, we have a lot of our members already working remotely, so we were already ready for that push, and we were able to handle that with no real issues.
That's good to hear. So if any of our students were interested in going into cybersecurity, what are some things that you would suggest for them to look into, or even just suggest for them to think about?
Like I tell all my students and people that ask me about getting into the cybersecurity field, which is a field that needs people. I mean, a lot of jobs are out there for cybersecurity professionals, not only here in San Antonio but all over the nation. There's a big job gap, job shortage of professionals in cybersecurity. So obviously, getting to a cybersecurity program, do a lot of learning on your own, a lot of reading. There's a lot of websites out there like Security World, NetworkSec, Dark Reading. Dark Reading's a big one, and gives you a lot of different insights of the world of cybersecurity because it's a huge spectrum, right? You can go from doing the red teaming, the hacking, or being a defender on the blue side, defending against the hacking, right? So, and there's a middle ground called purple teaming, which is basically offensive and defensive into one. And that's just one area. Then you have governance, you have risk management. So cybersecurity is a huge field that, depending on what you want to do, you can find your niche in there.
That's that's enlightening. I didn't realize had so many different areas and levels to get into.
Oh yeah.
So I know you said that you mentioned that you were an adjunct in our program, our cybersecurity program. Can you talk a little bit about what can students look forward to if they are enrolled in that program?
Well, I mean, I think Palo Alto was one of the first programs in the ACCD district to actually provide a cyber defense AAS associate program. So that's very new. No other college or no other university has that cyber defense moniker to their program. So that just gives you an idea that they're really pushing, cybersecurity from a penetration testing perspective, vulnerability management. I was involved in some of the recommendations for curriculum for the new program as it stands now and then going into the spring of 2020, 2021. So just, trying to get, I guess, a lot of different areas within cyber, specifically, the ones that employers are looking for, especially being in a 2-year college.
Mhm. And then as students pursue their cybersecurity or cyber education, what would you suggest would be their next big step once they leave Palo Alto?
Definitely look at certifications. Certifications are huge in our space. Obviously, the CISSP is kind of the flagship certification, but for that one, you have to have at least 5 years in 3 of the domains. So for all my students that are telling them that they're barely getting their feet wet or starting with their first job in the field, there's an associate of ICS squared, which is basically the governing body that provides the CISSP. I myself do not have the CISSP yet. I've been putting that on hold. I should have gotten that years ago, but I didn't. I have other certifications like the CISM from ISACA. So you see my background, that's an ISACA background. I sit on the board here in San Antonio for the ISACA chapter, and they also have a lot of certifications that are in the cybersecurity space. So look at the cybersecurity fundamentals certification. That's for people that that don't have any formal training or formal background in cyber but want to get into that field. That's a great one to start off with, the CSX from ISACA.
That's good information to know. So before we go, and before, it's obviously my last question. I just wanted to ask, is there anything that you want to share, some last minute items that you want to share with students, or ways that they can possibly get in contact with you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you're really serious about cybersecurity, we need people, we need folks, right? So really hunker down, study the material that you're doing in your courses, but also look around, ingest everything from going to websites, reading up on cybersecurity. I mean, I think before back in the day, cybersecurity was really in the shadows. Now you hear about breaches, you hear about companies being, losing data, exfiltrating data. You'll see the heads of Facebook, Google, Amazon on Capitol Hill testifying to why they shouldn't, decentralize their operations based on privacy concerns, security concerns. Look at certifications, read up on them, and just, if you're really really serious about getting into the field, make sure that you show that, right, by having due diligence in the way you present yourself, the way you talk about cybersecurity issues, and how it applies to your personal life. I mean, we all have computers at home, right? We all have routers. Let's change the default password on them. Let's put a little bit of security in our own home networks to show that you know what you're doing and keeping things secure. So that's some of the things that I would encourage students to look at. And as far as contacting me, I mean, I'm on the directory at Palo Alto, so just look up Dirce Hernandez. You should be able to see my email. You can contact me, send me an email. We can be in touch that way. And that's pretty much it.
That's good. That's good to know, and I'm so grateful that I was given the chance to speak with you today. So thank you so much for being involved.
Thank you.
Thanks.